Hello and welcome to Grumpy Gamers. You're here with me, Pete, and along with me this week I have Ben.
Hello.
Eddie.
Hello.
And Kirby.
It's because he's short and fat.
That was an inside joke just before this podcast that we've decided that Kirk should be known as Kirby from now on. But
The worst bit, I was trying to think of something clever to say as a train was going by, and then you just completely derailed me.
Oh, there was a
derailed.
lot of
Derailed. Very good. Classic Kirby.
Excellent. Well, we're all here. I suppose we should always talk about what we're going to go through. So, we've got the news. We've got a packed new releases section, guys. There's a lot in there this week. It's been good lately, to be fair. And then what we've been playing. We've got a bit more of Hogwarts because Ben can't put it down.
Nope.
And we've got some Dead Space as well. Because
absolutely.
Because Ben feared missing out.
Exactly, yeah.
FOMO.
Yeah.
Well, actually, my girlfriend bought me that for Valentine's Day, so there we go.
Didn't she?
So you didn't have to put it in the budget.
Hang on, she bought you another game.
She
bought him something.
Hogwarts for herself.
No, she bought him an early Valentine's.
Yes, yeah. Last of Us.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You can't have an early Valentine's present
you a
and a
kept man?
Valentine's present.
He is a kept man.
I am a kept man, yeah. That does. I mean, the evidence points to that. Yeah, absolutely.
You are well looked after, my friend.
I am well fed and watered. That is true.
Okay, weird analogy.
Yeah. I mean, we say that. Don't you just eat mince on its own without seasonings, Ben? But yes,
I have a lot of plain meat and rice. Yes,
Meat and rice. That is the
Jesus
best.
Christ.
and I force her to also have meat and rice. So yeah, it's pretty
girl.
bland, but I like it. Yeah,
that
you got to be healthy these days. You got to be healthy.
Christ.
You can still have flavour, but anyway.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let's
Maybe
move
some
on.
vegetables in there as well.
Oh yes, I'm forced to have vegetables. That is true.
Right. Okay. So
There's a lot of forced stuff going on with food here, and I'm not sure how to feel about it. Can you move it on, please?
I should probably mention our feature this week is, of course, on Worth a Buy, as we've mentioned him a million times. So that's all to come. Shall we kick off with the news?
Yeah, let's do that. Quick news time. Diablo 4 has an early access and open beta release date set for March. So the 17th to the 19th is the early access beta, and the 24th to the 26th is the open beta. So it's time to get my pre-order in, especially. I want to be involved as early as possible, but March is a great... I mean, I didn't expect it to be this soon, so...
Yeah, no, nor me.
Can't wait for that. But if it's going to happen sometime, the game comes out in May, June, something like that.
Yeah,
so
somewhere there, isn't it?
yeah, cannot wait for that one. So yeah, look forward to that. Next one, almost a year to the day, Horizon Forbidden West is being added to PS Plus. So relatively decent sales figures from what we hear.
Yeah.
But it seems to Sony that this game must have disappointed slightly sales-wise. It had almost a year to sell, remember. It was released quite early in the year, and it was bundled with a lot of PS5s, and I think I saw it in between the 5th and 10th position, like in the year of top-selling games. So I imagine Sony hoped for a bit more from a big franchise which had a lot of the year to sell, but... this might be the start of a trend 1 year post-release that we get for these big Sony games coming in, and that would be massive boon for PS Plus if that did happen. So, but if you haven't caught it, if you haven't had it yet, then coming to PS Plus. So look forward to that one.
Nice.
Next one, Sons of the Forest, has become the most wishlisted game on Steam. It's overtaken Starfield of all games, and of course The Day Before, which is no longer on Steam, is it? So, but yeah, it's overtaken Starfield. So I know, Eddie, I know it's on your wish list, so you're interested in this, and it looks good to me.
That's still big, isn't it? Don't you think that's
amazing?
Yeah,
I think it's amazing.
Absolutely.
I hadn't actually really heard of this game until a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
that's on you, but...
Yeah, well, absolutely.
But
but
Kirk's
it's absolutely
highlighting it right now, so I don't think he's ever heard of it.
Kirk's never heard of it because he's highlighting it now to research it. So yeah, I mean, he probably laughed at me then, but yeah,
I did. I fucking did.
It is in our new releases this week, so look forward to you talking about that one. Next up, Valheim will get its Xbox Series release and Game Pass release on the 14th of March. Yeah. So not long to wait to that one. Peter, are you interested in playing that on console or purely purely you've had your fill on that one?
I think for now I've had my fill, but next when I go back to it, because I probably will once there's another biome on top of the most recent one, I might well try it on console.
Yeah, same with you, Eddie, I guess.
I think I've had enough of it. I don't know. I don't really go back to games unless it's got like new content or maybe some mods. You know.
Well, that's it. So
really
it has got a whole new biome. It has expanded quite a bit.
Okay.
I just think I'd want at least one more before I jump back in.
Yeah, I mean, Pete, you'd done the whole thing, hadn't you? So
Yeah,
that's understandable. You'd done it to death. So yeah, probably needs a bit more content.
Eddie's
But
just scarred by falling down my chimney when he came to the base.
Never again. Who has an open plan chimney on other levels? I don't do one.
I didn't
clearly waiting for
expect
Santa
anyone to
Claus.
just run wildly into it.
And I'm never going on that game again when Ben's on it. Never again.
That is fair.
That is a fair comment. That's a fair comment.
Do we know if it's cross-platform at all?
I think it's only on Xbox.
No, in terms of PC to
PC
Xbox.
to Xbox, yeah.
Oh right. I don't know that. You could have a look at that if you wanted.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
you
good
could
point.
Google
Good
that,
point.
Kirk, in the back.
Good point. We are a podcast and not properly researched. It was in the quick news, Kirk. So this line on the quick news is
It's just
my
you guys
only knowledge.
loved it. I didn't know if maybe
And
like,
we've
that come up.
slowed it down already. Come on now.
This
Come
is
on.
my only knowledge, just the one line I've written down. Next one. First trailer for Tetris Origin Story starring Taron Egerton was shown ahead of the March release. So you watched that trailer, didn't you, Kirk?
Yeah, man, like, it looks great. I watched it twice
Looks really
actually.
cool.
So I showed my roommate after I watched it.
Yeah, lovely
So
stuff.
she looks-
I love the actor.
Yes.
I think he's fantastic.
is a
I
wonderful
mentioned to you
actor.
in the week, Blackbird
I think
on
I've actually.
Apple TV.
Is this where they go to Russia and they try and get the rights to it? Right?
Yes.
I've seen that trailer. Oh, there you go. Well done, Eddie.
Yeah.
Good that you put that together live. Excellent. Yeah, like that.
Just thought about that. I was like, oh, that's what that was.
It's good that Eddie preps for this and reads
there
maybe
you go.
potential.
You know what? I'll be honest. I haven't read the quick news. That's the only thing. Don't worry. Everything else.
Eddie,
I've read.
you don't need to be honest about that because I would have totally believed you,
Yes.
whether
yeah,
you
I
said
don't-
you were honest or not.
Oh, come
There's
on.
no
I'm
doubt
always
about it.
fully prepped. It was only because I did this prep 2 days ago because we were recording a day later. Because
Eddie, I did. I saw that. Like,
Yeah, so
this
did I.
podcast is probably the most prepped podcast that we've ever had. Like a day before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't do the quick news because I told myself just look at because there's always news getting added to the quick news. Just look at it at the last second. Obviously, I didn't do that.
Also, because we're so prepared,
well-
it is cross-platform Valheim.
There you go.
very
See, we
good.
knew that all along. Of course, I don't blame you for not reading it, Eddie, because it is literally a solid page wall of text.
Look at it. Not only is it boring to look at, but it's a whole page. This isn't quick anymore. At what stage do we need to say to Ben, this isn't quick news?
I'm thorough.
Now-
you don't make
now,
the
this is
decisions
the-
here.
this
You
is
don't
the
do
moment.
this.
I reckon if we look at the time, when I'm listening to this in a couple of weeks' time, I reckon 1/5 of this what will be on this quick news.
Well, I'll
Yeah,
tell
I
you why
think
that
it's
is,
the
Eddie,
longest
because you're
section.
banging on
I
about the
know,
time.
and I'm actually trying to give more time, so it's more emphasis on it. Yeah.
Is that because you know it infuriates me as well, Eddie? Of course it is. Why am I asking?
yeah,
that?
absolutely. So do we think, so Valheim's cross-platform, that's interesting.
Anyway, next piece of news, please.
There's a Pokemon Scarlet and Violet patch coming this or next week, I think.
Really? Wow, tell more about it.
I will tell you more about it, Eddie. What I can tell you is it probably won't impact the performance much. So temper your hopes.
Great news. This is important for people to hear. Good. Yep.
That's really interesting. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Eddie. I appreciate that.
I
I
appreciate
celebrate you
you.
thanking me.
I appreciate you for bringing this news to us. To our ears.
And I celebrate you, Eddie, so that's good. Next up, Saudi Arabia have increased their stake in Nintendo to 8%
Yes.
and have become the biggest external investor.
Fantastic. Next.
Imagine that.
That's pretty big. I mean, Nintendo's owned by Saudi Arabia.
And that could have been a news story.
Yes,
That
could
should have
easily
been a news story.
And Pete's just shimmying us on.
I'm trying to move us on as quickly as we moved on from Pentiment in Game of the Year. All right.
Nice. Yeah.
That was
all
we all
thanks
said
to
at the
Eddie.
time that was a tragedy, and
was.
we need to forget about that.
Good.
So yeah. Next up, Marvel Midnight Suns Venom DLC is out this week. So recently you might remember that the Deadpool DLC was added. I don't know if anybody else has clocked this, but it's a shame that it costs so fucking much. I've seen the like pass for this DLC, and it's like £35. That's more than the fucking game itself now.
For one character.
No, you get all the characters in on that, like all their additional DLC. But it's probably like 4 characters or something. I don't know exactly, but it's mental, man. It's mental because
I
the
thought
game
Stellaris
itself
were brutal at like 12 quid, but fuck.
you can get the game itself, I think, off CD keys on PC for like 21 quid or something.
Ben, Blood Bowl 3 coming out this week. Full game, huge game, is £25.
Yeah.
There you go. That's fucking
spoilers.
outrageous. Spoilers.
The only problem with I've never seen a DLC of this price. Like, never seen it. What's a real shame is that I basically never buy DLCs. I've usually have my fill of a game and then that's it. This is one game that I think is that damn good that I would get the DLC, but do DLCs come down in price? Like, I need this to come down in price.
That'll come down at some point.
They do, Ben, but the problem I have with DLCs... Pete, how much was Blood and Wine? I remember it being too much when it first came out.
I think Blood and Wine was 18, 19 quid.
Yeah, I had in my head 20 quid. And I remember I remember going, just wait for it to drop a bit, because 20 quid's too much for DLC. But the problem with that, once you go away from a game, you kind of lose interest. So I'm sure I probably would have seen the sale, 10 quid, and I've gone, well, not really interested in The Witcher 3 right now, so no.
That's a great point, Eddie, because I always think going back to a game, you lose that kind of muscle memory, you lose the controls, you lose a lot in it, and you just think like, to get back into it is quite a thing.
That Elden Ring DLC is going to kick our ass.
Oh, Pete, I was just about to say that. I was just about to say the reason why I haven't gone back to Elden Ring is not because I think it's a brilliant game, but it's actually because the whole learning and everything and getting back into it, I have to fully get back into it, so that's why I haven't gone back to it.
I'm a bit worried about Cyberpunk because I know I started a second or third playthrough and I was like, well, I need to finish this before getting into before the DLC, but I almost need to build up a character and go through the whole thing again to want to play the DLC with a fully fleshed character.
Yeah, you kind of want to be in the zone with it, don't you?
Yeah, and having done a build.
Yeah, and I mean, Blood and Wine's a great example because in the Game of the Year version, you realise just how vast that DLC is. Like, it's basically a new game added on top of the game. Yeah. But seeing it up front, a DLC for like 19 quid, I had the same sort of, oh, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
right now.
well, I definitely feel that about these characters because when you add a character into Marvel Midnight Suns, like, well, what are you? A few missions or something? Is that? The missions are effectively very, very similar. So what is going to be the big deal about this?
I'm devastated by the... and I'm not trying to prolong this quick news section. I was devastated by Three Kingdoms, Pete. Total War, Three Kingdoms. Because a lot of the factions, the people on the west and the Naman, I think they're called...
the south.
The southwest people... I love their game mechanics and I love the elephants and stuff that you get with it, but I think it's 15 quid and you get, don't get me wrong, you do get 3 factions, but it's still like, that's 15 quid. I can buy the game I'm talking about this week cost me 69p.
Spoilers.
I don't think that's the best comparison.
That's not the best.
I think that's a great comparison.
I understand the principle behind it. I tend to wait for the sales.
I could play 25 games. Or I could play one DLC.
This week's news has been
probably play
fucking
the DLC.
speedy.
I know, right? It's insane. Yes, let's move forward. Let's move forward.
There's a
Complaints about DLC aside. Yeah.
There's a 3-hour God of War Ragnarok trial available through PS Plus Premium.
Nice
at the moment. I think it's only in Europe though. That's what I've heard. But that's pretty good for anybody who's got that.
Test. I said that wrong.
Yeah, I think we got the sentiment.
Yeah.
It's all right, we'll move on.
Please do.
Another big news story for this week, but I don't really want to go into it too much. There were leaks for Tears of the Kingdom. There's a new Zelda game, Breath of the Wild 2. They're out in the wild now, so beware if you're really into knowing about different aspects of the game, including bosses and enemies and that type of stuff. This week, details for the official art book were leaked. So that means either somebody working at Nintendo or a printer or something like that leaked this. So be sure that the Nintendo ninjas will be lurking in the shadows waiting to ruin someone's fucking life now. So, because don't fuck with Nintendo. But yeah, it's quite a big leak this week.
Does anyone...
if you're into the detail.
Yeah, I do like you starting off with beware, because it's like if you hadn't mentioned this, there's some people who probably never have known. So they're now at more risk than they were before you said it.
No, I don't think they are, because if you're active on Twitter in like the gaming space or any of the social medias type thing, you just want to be aware that if you can mute words and stuff like that. So if you're aware, you can just mute Zelda or League. Or
Thank you, Kirk.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes, fair point.
You know, Kurt, we can just not have you on anymore. So,
I mean, sure.
that's a thing.
Yeah.
That Druckmann interview is going to be just flying away.
If you bring Druckmann to the table, then
fuck
then
you,
we'll
buddy.
talk.
Matt, vanish me. Go on, do it.
That pipe dream is now a pipe dream.
It always was a pipe dream, so we've not changed anything there.
The interview or getting rid of me?
I am not being led on that question. No, anyway, let's get the last of the quick news out of the way.
This is one that Kirk added, actually, because it was before our podcast that this was announced. The Sony State of Play is now scheduled for this Thursday. So it was rumoured last week, heavily, and into this week. So Sony are putting something out there. So you've put featuring new looks at anticipated games from third-party partners. So nothing first-party, I assume.
Nope.
An extended look at Suicide Squad. That'll be quite good. Look forward to that one. And 5 new PSVR 2 games
from partners as well. This is no first-party stuff, which is a bit concerning.
Yeah, but it'll be fun.
Yeah,
it's going to be the year of third party for PlayStation. So.
Well,
do you reckon years for third parties in the end?
There is anticipated to be a larger state of play for Spider-Man 2, and I don't know, like maybe they'll keep Wolverine for next year. You think? I am of that feeling. Like, what do PlayStation kind of need to show their hand soon? I think because Xbox is going to start dropping bangers. And Sony don't really have an awful lot going on apart from Spider-Man 2.
They did just release God of War. Like, that's not that long ago.
No, in this year.
Yes.
A year is... No, gamers have very short memories, and we are now in 2023. That's it.
Yeah, fair point. So if people want to watch the State of Play, it's Thursday at what
4
time?
p.m. Eastern time. Why didn't you put GMT?
They didn't have the GMT time available.
That's
it's
9
like...
p.m. here. It's
that's something you can work out. Okay.
I know, because I fucked it up last year, if you remember rightly, and there was a whole bit about it, and I can't be doing with that, so I just put what I saw.
So you just put the actual time. You quote a time and that's it.
Exactly. Shall I move us on to the main news then?
Please do, yes. Let's roll.
Oh, hang on. So we started right, so we're 18 minutes in. Nice.
Yes.
18 minutes, quick
news. Yes.
So what you're saying, Eddie, is that we need to make it 2 hours long for this to be a 6 for the podcast.
Pete really likes long podcasts.
Does.
Pete, were you furious last week that we were so long?
I actually just refused to listen back to it, I will be honest. I looked at that and went, no.
I did think
Not
that,
even
considering
worth
you
my
haven't
time.
put anything in the chat about a particular comment that was made.
Did everyone else hear that, or was that me?
That is the level of commitment that we're working with. That is
From
good
Pete,
stuff.
Ben, come on. You know that. You surely know by now.
It's nothing new, yeah.
Anyway, so...
If Kirk's not on, the next morning I get like, oh, good podcast, guys. That was really nice. But Pete, you get nothing. Eddie, 3 weeks later, you'll get that was good.
What? I'm just a bit behind. I don't like to be too up to date because then on those long drive home to my parents, then I've got nothing to listen to. So I like storing up.
Fair one.
Yeah.
Fair point. Right, so let's move on to the main news because it's taken a while. Microsoft plans a last-ditch effort to save $69 billion Activision Blizzard deal with the EU next week. So this is reported by Eurogamer. It is reported that there will be a behind-the-closed-doors meeting in Brussels on Tuesday, 21st of February, which is actually today, or yesterday if you're listening today, between Microsoft and the EU, which is said by news agency Reuters to be a last-ditch effort to salvage the deal, with Microsoft expected to offer further concessions to help this go through. So this is due to the FTC in the US, the EU's European Commission, and the UK's Competition and Markets Authority having all expressed concerns over this whole deal, and mainly to do with Call of Duty. Now, I'd like to be a fly on the wall during this meeting because, I just want to know what's going to be said about it. It's
Yeah, Pete's gone.
Pete's gone. Okay.
Oh.
All right. Should we just keep
No,
going?
Pete left us.
There
Okay,
we go. Yeah, we're going to keep going.
Keep going. Ben doesn't want to edit, so keep going.
For our listeners, Pete is dropped, but we are limited time for the edit tonight, so
incredibly limited.
keep moving forward.
So we move on regardless.
So more than
He's
anything,
back,
this is
baby.
just another. This is just another story about the ABK deal. But further to this, I mean, my story was just going to be that, and it's just to keep everybody updated with what is currently going on. But I think it was today that Brad Smith, who is the vice chair and president of Microsoft, tweeted out a statement about how there is now officially a legally binding contract between Microsoft and Nintendo, promising to bring Call of Duty to players of Nintendo's platform the same day as Xbox. So I'll just quickly read the statement that was announced there. It says, Microsoft and Nintendo have now negotiated and signed a binding 10-year legal agreement to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo players the same day as Xbox with full feature and content parity. That's how you say that word, isn't it? Yeah. So they can experience Call of Duty just as Xbox and PlayStation gamers enjoy Call of Duty. We are committed to providing long-term equal access to Call of Duty to other gaming platforms, bringing more choice to more players and more competition to the gaming market. There was a lot of Call of Duties in that statement. If I don't, I mean, pretty bad. But this is very timely considering what's being reported with this behind-the-scenes meeting. So, what do you think, guys? What's the deal?
I think it's Xbox demonstrating that they are serious about concessions, which is great. I also think this is it's a real huge statement because before they did mention this, didn't they? Microsoft and Nintendo deal, Call of Duty, blah blah blah.
They did,
and it's like, okay, that's great, but nobody really believes it. But this genuinely says same day as Xbox with full feature and content parity. It also says so they can experience Call of Duty just as Xbox and PlayStation gamers do.
Yeah.
That phrase, like, it's a weird choice of words because I assumed that they could only do this via the cloud. So that is not the same experience. But unless we're talking Switch 2 and that could potentially handle a lower resolution and optimize differently.
Could be what it is, isn't it? But that
possibly,
I think
but still you can't imagine. But
the statement that really stands out to me, I mean, it's the fact that there's kind of emphasis on the 10-year legal agreement. Like it's really digging the heels in on what they're trying to do here, isn't it?
Says it uses the word binding.
Binding
it?
10-year legal agreement. Yeah. So
do you think this is quite tactical? Not only in the timing of this release, because we've kind of known something was going to happen for a long time, and now everyone's discussing, if this deal's going to fall over.
Yeah,
100%,
this is the first ace up
you're
the
right.
sleeve. This is the we need to pull out some stops to get it done.
I also think it's quite clever because, and how do I put this nicely? I don't think Xbox are damaging the amount of people that play Call of Duty like properly by putting it on Nintendo. And what I mean by that is,
correct, yeah.
I don't think that the people that own the Switch are not the type of people like PlayStation owners are. Do you know what I mean by that? As in, handheld gaming, they're not usually buying a Switch to play games like Call of Duty, while PlayStation are. That's very much there,
I think bang on, Eddie, because I think you're not going to choose to play Call of Duty on the Switch unless that is your only option.
Yeah.
If you're playing Call of Duty seriously, or if we're playing Warzone or something, I'm never choosing to do that on the Switch. For one, the stick movement just isn't the same. You haven't got as big a degree of movement in your sticks, and you're just playing at a lower resolution and stuff. So you just can't see things. So
as Eddie said, great little tactic because basically no one's going to bloody play it. No one, really, like.
But it's a brilliant way of going. Oh, look, see, we are happy with.
Doing what you said.
Oh, do you want to do it with PlayStation? Oh, well, maybe we'll hold off to see if this deal goes through first before saying anything.
That'll be a separate deal altogether, won't it?
Yeah.
What PlayStation want is that what they want is you will not put this on Game Pass. That is not going to happen.
Yeah.
But that's what they're worried about. That's what they want, and just simply not going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's okay.
Good
All
stuff.
right, lovely. I'll go on. UK suggests age verification for games. That's the UK government. I was going to go through the report and paraphrase it, but nah, Eurogamer does a much better job. Games should identify if
Can I stop you there, Eddie?
Yeah.
You have never paraphrased any news story.
I want you to go.
Don't start now.
Immediately.
Don't start
I want
now.
you to go through the last.
There was no reason for you to start now. We never
I want
believed
you
it.
to go through the last 3 weeks worth of notes on our thing. And can you find where I... Oh, no, because it'll still have the link at the top.
No, I can't
All
find
right, let
it
me
where you
promise
paraphrased
you,
anything.
Let me promise you, the last 3 weeks in a row, I now, since you picked up on it about a month ago, I now do little paraphrases.
We picked up on it a long time before. We just didn't call you out on it.
Yeah.
All right,
picked up
sorry.
on week one.
You called me out.
Okay,
That's
okay.
fine. Games should identify if a user is under 18 with a reasonable degree of certainty and ensure their experience is not detrimental to their well-being. A new report by the UK's Information Commissioner's Office has stated, or ICO, because that's what they call it from here. This should include encouragement to take regular breaks from extended play without feeling pressurized to continue playing or becoming fearful of missing out, the ICO continued. While the report only offers recommendations, they are being made as part of the UK's Children's Code, which explains how the UK's General Data Protection Regulation should be applied to digital services. Other recommendations include behavioural profiling for marketing being switched off by default, plus limits to the amount of sponsored content and advertising in any community server accessible from within the game.
Can they not just do that for everyone? Like, both of those things sound great for all of us. I do not want to be behaviourally profiled by a game. Like, fuck off. Anyway, yeah, okay.
I love it. I love all that. I say yes to all the cookies because then I get good adverts. Love a good advert.
Yeah, I actually celebrate it as well because I like aimed advertising because I'm a sucker for it and I celebrate
for
it.
that, aren't you? Yeah.
Cut. You are like conspiracy theory the other way, though. We all had to fucking download Signal because you thought, I don't know,
That is true.
fucking Facebook was taking your internet codes or something.
You thought a European
Yes,
law
yes.
applied to the UK when it quite obviously didn't. as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
That was
I
fantastic.
fucked that up, but I couldn't be asked to backtrack and fuck Facebook. So.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
We've all
Yeah.
made the move over
that
to
right?
fucking Signal, and it was.
We had to do
purposeless,
that.
yes.
Was such an upheaval as well,
We're
and we
still
all did
on
it.
Signal, for fuck's sake.
It's the only reason I
We
have
all
that
did
app as well is for that chat room.
Charlie's not on our group chat because he couldn't be fucked to download Signal, so now we've lost a friend because of it.
It's because he couldn't be fucked to deal with Kirk.
Yeah. He realised that he could stay on.
Kirk's fucking shit.
Okay.
Yeah, this is an interesting news section, not including news about games. But yes,
This one particular news item though, it says with a reasonable degree of certainty. If games that are rated 18 and films etc. are genuinely for 18-year-olds and only with a parent explicitly doing something to allow a kid under that age to play it should be allowed, kind of thing, you should have to like submit like a photo of your driving license or something like that on an app if they were that serious about it.
It fucks me off when I go to CEX and I see parents buying their kids like GTA 5 and stuff like that, and these kids are like 8.
Yeah, but that's a parent. A parent has made that choice. I'm not making any judgment on that. I'm just saying.
I understand that, but it's the whole like. Do you know what?
so you want us basically what Ben's saying is he wants to give more data to the faceless corporation, like
but adult data, and then they can target them with
I
adverts.
do not want either. Okay, you're fine. Either way, I can't see this being a bad thing. Can you? Like.
No,
I'd like
not.
steps like this. I mean, they're only recommendations, but at the end of the day, they're going the right way. I'll also note that the UK government, Ben, you probably don't know because you don't even know what a newspaper is, but the government have started a new department, the Department for Science, Innovation and Technology, which is awesome because they were kind of wedged in with DCMS, that was like culture, sport and
media.
So now they've got, I mean, let's be honest, science and innovation, fob those two off, they're only going to be small little teams. But so basically we've got a whole department designed for technology, which is great because computer games are open to that.
Didn't you tell me off the other week for not knowing that the government was starting some really obscure new department? You're like, how do you not know this?
Yeah,
of course I fucking don't. You only know it because you
he's
work
he's
in
a
the
stooge
government.
for the government now. He gets all the insider info. That's what it is.
What do you mean insider info? It was on the front fucking newspaper of every newspaper. It's up there. If you look on BBC, it'll be on one of the stories right now.
Yeah, and I didn't even have to wait for that. I have a housemate who's also a government stooge. So I heard about it before.
Yeah, exactly. You guys are the inside track.
Moved around.
Me and Kirk, we're on the outside here.
No, we're not. No, my roommate's a government stooge as well.
No, they're everywhere.
Okay, you guys are all on the
everywhere.
Love it. I will also end with this. In the report, it said that in 2019, 93% of children play video games, with the average amount played at around 3 hours a day.
Nice.
No.
I wish I could play 3 hours
That's
a day.
mental.
That's mental, isn't it?
3 hours a day.
That's going to be mobile gaming, though, isn't it? Like, come on.
93%, though. That's it.
If 3 hours is the average, Jesus.
That's average, Ben.
And those kids that are playing multiple hours a day. That
No,
sounds
but
like
think
fucking
about it.
dream
Like,
come
you
true.
get home at 4:30, then maybe play for an hour, then have dinner, and then they're straight up, and they're playing 2 hours. By that time, it's 9 o'clock. I assume most kids probably go to bed at 10.
Actually, just equate this to like when we were younger. It was MSN Messenger, wasn't it? And you were just on there straight away when you were later, like at night or whatever. It's just the same thing, just being on Fortnite now.
Yeah, I
Right.
suppose.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe it's
Still,
that easy.
that's impressive. 3 hours, because there's only probably for the average kid after school 4 hours of gaming available time. I mean, obviously
yeah.
none of these kids are doing fucking homework. Is homework a thing anymore?
Clear.
Am I that old?
Or have they just turned it into a
probably
game to make people do it more?
Oh,
Gamification
wow. Hang
is
on, I want to
everywhere.
go back.
Oh, that's 200
I
IQ.
want to go back to school.
You'll find out it's like, I don't know, one of the terrible, terrible games. It's like Forspoken.
God,
That's
it
how
is
you do
Fortnite.
homework now.
Fortnite. It's only Switch games.
Yeah. Oh,
Hang on a minute, right? You've just had to go at Forspoken and Switch. Just right, moving on.
thank you. Yes.
My story. Employee satisfaction survey was reviewed at Blizzard. So Activision Blizzard has said that it's proud of Mike Ibarra's leadership following a disastrous company-wide meeting to discuss an internal employee satisfaction survey. So this also comes from Eurogamer because that's where I source all the news. During the meeting, Ibarra was asked several pre-screened questions on the company's supposed use of stack rankings for employee performance, the slashing of profit share bonuses from 22% from 2022 down to 58%. They didn't mention the percentage that it came from, so that could be 59% for all we know. And the announcement of employees being told that they must return to working from the office. So with regards to the profit share bonuses, Ibarra said to employees, if you think that executives are earning a lot of money and you aren't, you're living in a myth. Employees then pointed out that lower bonuses and returning to work with commuting costs, etc., was less than ideal. Ibarra said that, and this is a good quote, he said, at the end of the day, we want people to be happy, and if decisions about being happy don't align with where we're going, you won't be happy. Then you'll have to do what will make you happy. Which is a bit of a mouthful. Bit of a mouthful.
That's a PR line. That's a nothing.
Well, it's not a nothing, because that is clearly saying you don't like it, fuck off.
Yeah.
That's not a PR.
That's not a typical CEO kind of response.
That's that's anti-PR.
You know our machine that we talk about. Yeah. That quote has not come from that machine.
That's
we are working hard to
anti-PR.
improve employee happiness by striving through yada yada. That's the usual shite.
And what I mean by it being a nothing is it's 50 words to say 4 or 2. Because you could summarise that as fuck.
True. Yes. It's a lot of word salad there. Yeah, absolutely. But after this, Blizzard employees took to social media, and a senior game designer, I left out his name because I didn't think it was relevant, said, I've been in the industry for nearly 10 years and I've never, ever been as embarrassed by leadership figures as I am at this moment. Another person said, this is a senior character artist. They said, after today, my confidence in leadership now only extends to Team 4. Don't know what that means. And no further. What an absolute mess of a week. And then I assume he was trying to channel his inner surfer and said, "We just want to make cool games, man. Why does it matter where we do that from?"
Are you
referring
Ronald
to
Reagan?
the
Like, just a 3-word phrase turned you into like a 70-year-old person thinking that cool is an out there statement.
No, it's ending with man.
okay.
We just want to make cool games, man.
okay.
But regardless, like, so that was basically the story. Obviously, we don't work there. It's hard for us to say what's a big deal and what is not, what's important. We can only go on the article. The article, I think, was fairly poor in highlighting why there was an outrage. In summary of the article, it seems bonuses have been cut, presumably due to performance, and contracted staff are asked to work from where their contract says they should work. There are obviously loads of there are factors that go into making financial decisions. Performance to budget and investor expectations are massive, and I could be completely wrong. And when we talk about Activision, Activision Blizzard, people get on their back very quickly. It's fun to rag on them. They do have a lot of problems there, well documented. But things like this do sometimes. I just find it very weird. There's a very large sense of entitlement that we see today everywhere. And some things like this they don't sit quite well with me when people are complaining about some things. But what do you guys think?
I mean, you are literally a capitalist wet dream, Ben. That's where I end up with all this stuff.
You are Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I've been in this position where employees, and you just can't. You're like, you can't understand the reaction when you're trying to do your best. But I'm not saying they are, and this could be a bad situation. But yeah,
that is why you're in that position, Ben. You're a middleman between them and the people actually skimming the money off at the top. So you're there to take their flak, even though you are doing your best. Anyway, yeah, they're clearly not very happy.
They weren't very happy. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Well,
yeah, the article I didn't think was great. So
yeah,
I think it's
you're our main source, and we failed. Yeah,
I think it's difficult because if the people at the top, if you can't respect the people at the top, then I do think there needs to be better people at the top. However, by the sounds of it, their gripes are quite entitled. Like if you started in that most of them would have started when it was in the office. So to be told to go back into the office, I know not many people. I won't. Like I'd probably quit my job if I was made to go back in the office.
And you'd be
full-time.
entitled to do so. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I was brought up in a world where if you didn't like something, you had to be the one to change it by either quitting or maybe putting your job on the line and saying, I need this, this, and this, or I'm going to leave. I wasn't brought up in a world where it was, I'm not happy about it, so I'm going to moan and I'm going to be upset and I can't believe you haven't given me exactly what I want. It's difficult. I think bad management should be punished, but at the same time, I think people should, I don't know, get on with it.
It's hard when we don't know the full.
This is it. We have no idea of the full picture. The thing is, they've probably been doing their job from home without a problem for 4 years, and are now like, what the fuck is going on? Which you can also understand.
But there'll be bigger decisions
two
at play.
Sides to the story.
So.
It's we don't know enough about it. They're not happy.
It's like by the sounds of the complaints, a lot of people are upset by that, and I would be. My God, if they asked me to come back full time. But here's the thing, like, you don't have the right to kind of say that because your contract used to be in the office. You are an office employee, so why should you go to online and go mental about it?
Right, I don't think we're really the place or the platform to discuss post-capitalism and problems stemming from the current world.
If you don't like it, work out a new deal. Work out a new deal or get a new job, basically. Just do something.
Wow, Kurt, I didn't think you'd be on that side. I thought you'd be full liberal boy.
I think that is the way you have to get down. It's like these people will moan on Twitter, just as execs will make pointless statements on Twitter. It'll all sort itself out, or it won't.
Yeah. I didn't think the execs made pointless things on Twitter. They said that to the employees. But I was quite impressed that these people putting comments on Twitter, they were not
hiding who they were.
They were not ashamed to put their name to it, you know? But so obviously meant quite a bit.
Probably because a lot of them have got together and said, like all these things, the only way this is going to change is if They get bad publicity. Lots of employees band together and say, blah, blah, we're not doing this. I mean, look at Twitter. They had to backtrack with a lot of their problems. And getting lots of media coverage, making the big bad bosses look really bad, and then a lot of them will have to backtrack. So, yeah, I think the employees... I don't know if they've done the right thing or not. I don't know.
They've got a secret Slack and they know what they're doing.
They'll just unionise. That's what we'll see. Anyway, sucks to be them is where I wanted to go on that, because it really doesn't suck to be a Sega employee right now.
Nice.
Thank you.
Good segue.
Finally got the opportunity for the segue. My God.
Good segue. Very good.
So, Sega is confirmed to awarding its staff a 30% pay rise. By revising its compensation system, Sega believes it will further stabilise employee income and create a more comfortable working environment, as well as strengthen its global competitiveness.
Sounds like those Blizzard employees need to go there.
Yeah, it does sound like there's a good place for them to move.
That sounds like a PR statement.
It really does, doesn't it? It continues. We are working to reform our various personnel systems so that employees can maximise their respective potential in a comfortable working environment. Possibly from home.
Brilliant.
Even, I'm adding to the statement there.
Could be.
Doesn't say
It
that.
doesn't, but I mean, a comfortable environment.
That's a good little line.
They may have added some beanbags to the office. We will continue to invest in human resource education. Oh, I hate this. Including not only the development of a compensation system that treats employees according to their roles and contributions, but also the expansion of measures to support working styles for each and every employee to live their own lives. I can't say any more of this without wanting to vomit slightly, because it is such a corporate statement. But a 30% pay rise that's pretty sweet.
They are bathing in that pay rise, giving that PR statement. They are bathing in that. Oh yeah, we're giving a glorious pay rise here. Let's really dig into it.
What I do like, though, is it does come down to it's an average monthly salary increase by 30%. I did think, well, that could be a 3% uptake for everyone but the CEO. And then he's just got such a massive increase.
You'd hope not, but it technically
but that
could
would be the best way of painting this picture, wouldn't it? Like, it's an average 30%.
Somebody out there going, I didn't even get an increase. I got a real terms pay cut.
I've actually been demoted as well. But no, in truth...
And I can't work from home.
In truth, it is a pretty good news story for Sega employees, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
Sounds very good.
Great optics there at Sega.
On a good news story, because that's so rare.
Tell you what, that Sonic game must have done well.
Well, that's why it's got a sequel, mate. And it's just paid for 30% raises for everybody.
There we go. Yeah, we did say it did well last week, didn't we?
We did.
Fantastic. So, new releases?
Oh, good upward inflection there.
Thanks.
Pete. As if it might not happen.
I was just making sure that you didn't want to add any more comments to our almost an hour, 45-minute news section. That was...
Shit,
Stop trying to move us on, man.
Was our quick news the same length as our actual news?
Marginally smaller.
Stop hating on the
sorry,
time. I'm the one that should be hating on the time tonight, because I need to edit.
Really you know
Pete,
what?
just loads of edits, remember, because Ben doesn't want to edit
That
tonight.
is
So
true.
just say some horrible things.
Oh no, you should hear the noises in the background on the Audacity track when I went dead. Because I was furious in that moment. So Ben's going to have to...
Well, they'll be left in. Everyone will have the joy.
Pete, get your old mouse out. Get all clicky.
I mean, I'm not even using it, but it is near enough that I can click at opportune moments.
That's it.
Nope,
That's it. Doesn't need to be plugged in.
Not necessary. I tell you what, the time's going
I
on, guys.
know. I did realise we could keep Ben up all night with this if we wanted to. That was a good thought.
Right. New releases. Pete, can you just quiet so we can get on with it? I want to be done. Blood Bowl 3 coming out on PC, PlayStation, Xboxes, February 23rd. Are you saying finally because I started, or finally because Blood Bowl 3?
Finally for Blood Bowl Bloody 3.
Hey, you criticised me. I said this is one of my most anticipated 2023 games. You went,
and I said it wouldn't come out.
Yeah, there you go. Brutal, crazy, tactical. This is Blood Bowl. The iconic death sport returns with the new video game of fantasy football, faithfully using the latest board game rules and new content. There should have been a comma in there. Create your team, then crush, mulch, and cheat your way to the top, leaving your opponents in the graveyard. That was a good blurb. Apart from the lack of commas. That was good. This is a Warhammer twist on American football. It's mostly PvP. There was 2 before it, so it must be good, as Ben would say.
Must be.
Huge difference. There was a huge difference between 1 and 2. Like, if you go back and look at gameplay of 1, look at gameplay 2, it's like so big. And then you look at this, and I don't want to be harsh because I'm going to love this game, but it looks like, well, it doesn't look it looks the exact same as 2.
It's a little bit crisper, come on.
Oh, a little bit crisper.
It's been in the oven an extra 10 minutes. But they've made like 15 cycling games since the last one, Eddie. Come on now, like.
Yeah, they need to take a break from their cycling games and move over. So, but you can, right? There's create players, customize their appearance, emblems, and armor. So that sounds quite cool. There's new skills and redesign passing mechanics. So they have changed it a bit. You know what's really clever as well with Warhammer, and they do this with the board game, and obviously they have to carry it over to computer games, is they change the rules like every 6 months, like quite drastically, so that you have to buy the new rule books, or you need to buy the new like cards that come with it to see what stats your people have. Now, a lot of this on Blood Bowl 3's page is saying, you know, it has all the new rules. So that's what's so clever, because they're always going to bring out new Blood Bowl games. There's a single player campaign available to all factions. That kind of upset me because I want a forever game on single player. I don't want a campaign because they had campaign in 2 and it was shit. So that upsets me a little bit. And as I said earlier, it's only 25 quid. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. I'm obviously going to get this. What do you guys think, Pete? Does
that meet the Eddie price range for day one?
I wouldn't say day one, but I reckon I would pay £25 for this game. Yes.
And if there's a 10% launch sale, I reckon Eddie might jump at it. You know what I mean?
The thing is, I'm done with buying games when I'm not excited about them, because I don't end up. I play it for probably 1/10 the length I usually would play it, and also it's just a bit of a waste of money. Why don't I just wait until I'm excited about it, or I go back and play it? You know. So I'm not. If I all of a sudden get the craving to play Blood Bowl, I'll pay 25 quid for this. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, cool.
It's on my wish list as well, Eddie, to answer your original question.
Lovely. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Right, next one, Chef Life, a restaurant simulator, coming out on PC, PlayStations, Xboxes, and Switch, February 23rd. Create and manage your dream restaurant. Menus, purchasing, decor, staff, equipment, customers, and don't forget the actual cooking. Experience the daily life of a restaurateur and earn your awards from the Michelin Guide.
Just hold on, before you move on, Eddie, the bird sound in the middle was decor, just for anyone listening.
Decor.
Yeah.
Decor.
I had to go a bit, how you say French on it.
Right. Okay.
I think the listeners have had enough of my French accent the past couple weeks.
I think it was celebrated a couple of weeks ago, actually.
Was it?
The podcast.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Thank you. By all the French people, I assume?
I can only assume.
Yes.
I think it was Mr. Llama Fluff, wasn't it?
That makes more sense.
I think it could have been.
French.
That makes more sense. Yes. So this game you do the whole lot, which is a bit of a shame. I think like the whole cooking bit looks very kind of Facebook game that your mum plays. But all the other aspects look really entertaining to me. It looks like The Sims. There was a DLC with The Sims. I think The Sims 2 or 3, where you could own a bar or a shopping mall, a shop, I should say, or a restaurant and stuff like that. And I bought that, and to be fair, I played a hell of a lot of it, and it kind of looks identical to that without the cooking. I don't think this will be good, but I think this could be fun for some people. And again, I'm thinking mums. I think my mum would love this.
I agree. I think she'd love it.
Ben, you like a sim though? Come on.
I thought this looked really good, apart from the cooking part, like you said.
Did you say yes? Wow. I'm glad you think that as well. Yeah,
but I thought every other aspect of it looks actually quite good. I dread to think what this looks like on the Switch, but actually it looks really nice on the other platforms, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Nice. All right, move on to Company of Heroes 3. A lot of people, big one probably. Coming out PC February 23rd. Bigger and better than ever. Company of Heroes 3 combines heart-pounding combat. Really? Like, I've played the last two, and never was my heart pounding. Imagine that, like your heart is pounding, like it physically hurts your chest. I mean, Ben, with your weak heart, you probably have that a lot, but...
Yeah, I do have full-hearted problems, so
Don't play this game. Do not play this game. You will die.
It's not for me.
It's not for me. He died by Company of Heroes 3.
That's how he didn't want to go.
Anyway, combines heart-pounding combat with deeper strategic choices in a stunning Mediterranean theatre of war. In Company of Heroes 3, every battle tells a story. What's yours? That's a really poor ending, that. Yeah, Worth a Buy has already panned this, and he loved the last two. There's new elite squads, there's cutscenes, which I don't think there were any cutscenes in the last two. There are bigger maps. I have been looking through a lot of this, and I didn't give a shit about any of it. But the one thing I did not like in Company of Heroes 2 was the maps were... Well, they weren't small. Well, they were small. I'm going to go big. They were so small that it felt like a linear game. It felt like you were moving your men up in a singular way, and you just needed to defeat the people ahead of you. If the maps are really big in this, then I think that could be really fun, actually. Like, you could go over to one side of the map and hope you're flanking, and, oh, shit, I haven't focused on them in a while. So, yeah, I'm not mad. What I am mad at is the £50 price tag, which...
Rough.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That's rough.
But anyone else like this? No?
I watched the Worth a Buy review on it a while ago as well, and so immediately, okay, fine. Next.
I'll probably avoid it to save my heart, personally.
Very good, very good. Moving on to Planet Cube Edge. Cube Edge, come on. PC, PlayStations, Xboxes, and Switch. February 23rd. The initial
Switch game.
Yeah, the initial date for this game was September 21. Very silent on what platform, so I don't really fucking know. Maybe early access on PC, I don't know. A high-speed, high-skill platforming game. Well, high-skill, high-speed, high-skill platforming action, is how they described it. Not game, but that's fine. It's a pixel art lover's dream. Do you know that?
It looks it.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. I hate these type of games, so it's up to you to build them up. Come on. Tell me what you love about it.
I hate the colour scheme of it. It's just it's so like green but desaturated. It's
to our listeners, it's like all green or blue saturated colours. There's no other colours, are there? Really?
No, I just don't like the look of it. And it's a platformer. No, thank you.
For those who like classic platformers, they'll like this game probably.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Kirk was like looking down from his tower when he said that. Like, platform.
While playing his little Voomy game.
/ platformers.
Yeah. Do love Ori.
Lovely.
And Tunic.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, Tunic. Moving on to
That's not a platformer.
Similar loop.
Sorry?
It's like isometric. Well, no.
I wouldn't class it as a platformer.
No.
It's not similar.
What would you class? Action adventure?
Really?
No,
Yeah,
I know.
it's
That's
like
what makes me sad to say
It's
that.
it's an isometric Souls-like action
Don't
adventure.
say Souls-like.
It is Souls-like.
Souls-like.
It is.
Everything's Souls-like.
I mean, I don't know what I'm saying. What it is? Take it or leave it. Move on.
Right, you're wrong. Sons of the Forest coming out on PC only. Nice. February 23rd. Sent to find a missing billionaire on a remote island, you find yourself in a cannibal-infested hellscape. Craft, build, and struggle to survive, alone or with friends, in this terrifying new open-world survival horror simulator. New open world? I mean, this is the second one in the series, so I don't know why it's new, but that's fine. This is The Forest 2, basically. Survival horror game. I like the storyline. I didn't like the last one. You're on a plane, aren't you, and it crashes. It's so fucking outplayed. The visuals look good. I'm quite happy about that. It's on my wish list. I'll probably get it at some point. What do you guys think?
Visuals look really good, don't they?
Yeah. Really happy with
the
that.
main thing that I liked about this is that from outset, because this is early access, right? From outset, it's got full controller support on Steam.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
What about Steam Deck, Ben? What's the Steam Deck support like?
I imagine it would run, but I don't know. But it's one of those that you'd buy on Steam, you try it on the Steam Deck, and then if it doesn't work within 2 hours, then just send it back. So, but I think it looks really, really good.
Yeah, it does look nice.
Especially if you're into survival games, that kind of survival horror genre within an open world survival game like simulator, you don't get too many good ones out there, I don't think.
Well,
this good looking.
I'll tell you now that The Forest was regarded as like what all survival games should aim for.
It's got a cult following, hasn't it?
Yes,
it's got a cult
exactly.
following, that game.
I actually
as well.
I have actually played a few hours this week of it. I'm going to play more of it next week because I bought it over Christmas, didn't I? The Forest, after seeing that this one was coming out. So I'll let you know. I mean, I already played it on a weekend ages ago and it wasn't good enough for me to buy. So I don't, Sorry to end on a downer there. Next one. This one's for Pete. Kerbal Space Program 2 coming out on PC, PlayStations, Xboxes, February 24th. Kerbal Space Program 2 is the sequel to the acclaimed space flight simulation game Kerbal Space Program. I don't think you needed to include the name there. Enter the next generation of space adventure with exciting new parts, stunning visuals, fully revamped UI and map view, and rich new environments to explore. Pete, they've put fully revamped UI and map view. To put that in a blurb, was it really bad in the last game?
I mean, it wasn't its strongest point.
Okay. It's just weird they put it. It's almost like they know how shit it was.
Yeah, I think it's sort of pointing out all the quality of life features as well, because...
Right.
I mean, the fun bit of this game is crashing. I will be honest. That is my favourite. Failure is my favourite thing in Kerbal. Like, it's just... Wow. It's similar to RimWorld, Eddie, where it just goes all horribly wrong and it's like, brilliant. That was actually fantastic.
Oh, nice.
I kind of love that ending to, well, any playthrough of anything. So I'm very much looking forward to that again. But yeah, the UI wasn't great. So improvements will be appreciated. Stunning visuals seemed like a strong term because that's not really something they aim for. But
yeah, it also is not stunning visuals.
I mean, Ben, we're not going by character models on this, right? Because that's not their strong.
No, objectively, it is not stunning.
Don't use that word, Ben. You don't know what
it just looks basic. I don't think stunning is a word. Yeah, it's just basic looks. Yeah, it's weird that they've brought that up and said that. Stunning visuals. Stunning.
I think the whole game is almost a piss take, so yeah, that makes sense.
It is. Wow. No, it kind of is a parody of itself as well.
Yeah.
So
it is a parody. I like the first one. I remember having it in early access on Xbox about fucking 8 or 10 years ago, whenever it originally came out. So I was a big fan of the first one.
You know what interests me about this one? While doing my research, it says brand new to Kerbal Space Program 2 are colonies. Colonies not only pose their own physics challenges, but also require resource gathering to build structures, space stations, habitations, and unique fuel types.
Hello.
Eventually, these colonies will become advanced enough for vehicle construction, propelling deep space exploration and beyond.
Yeah.
This is exciting, actually.
Honestly,
that's a big change. That will be phenomenal, potentially.
Yeah, I know.
I wonder what price this is coming out at, because is this early access? Do we know, or is this going right? Do you reckon it's a 25 quid?
I think it'll be 25 quid. Yeah. I
think a good price for a game like this. Not a fucking.
I'm just hoping they don't go sequel 50 quid.
That's what I mean. Like Company Heroes 3. That's fucking outrageous. So.
I reckon they're more sequel Blood Bowl style, so it'll be 25 quid again. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I hope so as well. Yeah, nice. Right, move on to Kirk's favourite. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, coming out on Switch, February 24th. The Pink Hero is back. Sorry, Kirk?
Definitely not my favourite. Don't know what that was needed for.
Kirk,
It looks just like you.
You didn't need to get defensive, but yes,
Short
the
and
similarity
round.
is true.
Fuck you.
The Pink Hero is back in Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe on Nintendo Switch. Jump into 4-player fun or go at it solo in this deluxe version of the Wii platforming adventure game, featuring new abilities, sub-games, and a bonus escapade starring the interdimensional traveller Magalore. Magalore? Yeah. Magalore. The original game came out in 2011. It's a platform. I never played it because I'm an adult. Ben, did you ever play it?
Nope, don't care, buddy.
Fantastic.
You had a
Wii
lot
game.
of hate for Kirby in the last game that came out. You had a lot of hate for it.
Forgotten
I
Land.
know.
is that
What
right?
I don't like
that
about it is that it's a big Nintendo IP, and they put so much like backing on it when Nintendo just haven't got that many big hitters this year. But it's like, oh, but they've got Kirby. Oh, there's a new Kirby game coming out. Who gives a fuck?
Like you, clearly.
Some people will buy it and play it, and they like, but it's not. You can't classify it in your big hitters, surely. Like, sure, some people will like it. It's a B grade, but fuck, it's just so disappointing that they put so much on these type of releases.
They just like to rehash everything, don't they? Let's be honest. It's just Nintendo in a nutshell.
Sadly, I think you're onto something there.
Lovely. Right, let's move on to a belter.
Lovely.
Octopath Traveler 2, coming out on PC, PlayStations, and Switch, February 24th. This game is a brand new entry in the Octopath Traveler series, the first installment of which was initially released in 2018 and sold over 3 million copies worldwide. Before I move on, what that blurb is. So remember, this blurb is supposed to be, what's this game about? Oh, this looks quite interesting. The first sentence. This game is a brand new entry in the Octopath series. I mean, we know it's called Octopath Traveler 2, right?
Yeah.
The first installment of which was initially released in 2018. Right. Why are you telling us when the last game came out and sold over 3 million copies? Why are you telling us what the last game... And no information about the game whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in the.
Have you got information on the game?
I do, Kirk. I do. You have 8 new travellers, each with their own origins, motivations, and unique skills. You can sail the seas and explore every corner of a world that changes from day to night. So there's a day and night cycle as well. There's new mechanics and better visuals. I loved the visuals of the last game. I've got to admit, I didn't like the game as much as I thought I would. I think it's because the fact that you had to be like certain people and you didn't stay as that one character, that kind of put me off a bit. But yeah, this game, again, looks absolutely stunning. I love the visuals of it. There's a free demo to download on Steam. Ben, you played the first one. You actually liked it a lot more than me.
Yeah, I think I played 25 hours, so I didn't complete it or whatever. The thing that lost it for me was, yes, there's 8 travellers. You can go in any order, essentially. So you start with anybody. You don't have to do all of them, so you can focus on, like, 4 and then like rotate your 3 in or whatever and like make sure they're leveling up effectively, so you don't have to do all 8. But what I didn't like about the first one was that you could have conversations between your characters, but there seemed to be, and it might change by the end of the game, but there seemed to be little to no link between any of the individual stories and what they were actually fighting towards. There would obviously be an overarching thing, I imagine, but it didn't provide that within the 25 hours of gameplay that I had. So it seemed like I was just playing individual stories and other people were along for the ride. And it's just like, I think that was a key link there, that if there was a link later on, they should... It's hard to intertwine, I guess, because you can do it in any order, but there just needed to be a bit more connectivity as you go through the game. That was my biggest gripe on it.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Anyone else for anyone else?
I mean, it looks wonderful. I won't. Yeah, it does.
I
It
love
does
those
look really nice.
visuals. I don't know what you call it. It's like a polished...
It's called 2D HD.
2D HD.
That's what it's called, isn't it, Kurt?
Nice. Yeah, well, they've executed it tremendously. So
I think that's what it's
Looks
called.
stunning. Really does.
just not a fan of JRPGs. That's just not my thing. So
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah, can't go. I mean, I hate JRPGs, but I wouldn't I would call this more of an RPG than a JRPG, but that's fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's got the turn-based mechanic. I assume that's what you mean by that, Kirk. That's one of the aspects you don't really like.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, the only time I've ever really liked that is in the old Pokemon. So
yeah, okay.
So that's it.
Right. You strike me as you would have been a Final Fantasy VII fan.
Never played it,
Kirk, but
Ooh,
yeah, okay.
Good game. Destiny 2 Lightfall. We've got a lot of don't get me wrong. This has been a great week. But look, we've got Destiny 2. We've got Octopath Traveler 2. We've got Kerbal Space Program 2. We've got The Forest 2. We've got Company Heroes 3, and then we've got Blood Bowl 3. I mean, it's a good week, but there's been no. Well, sorry, there was Chef Life, a restaurant simulator. That was a brand new game. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And Planet Cube Edge.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't forget that. Yeah, very, very
I'd
good.
already forgotten about it. Thank you for reminding me.
No worries. I didn't want anyone to forget that one.
Right, Destiny 2 Lightfall. PC, PlayStation's, Xbox's, February 28th. It's an expansion. It's got a new campaign to play alone or with up to 2 friends, because every fucking game now you need to play with friends. New cityscape destination to explore, if that kind of excites you. Exotic weapons to collect as well. So there you go, Destiny fans. You got a Phil coming out on February 28th.
Do you know what annoys me about this? I really thoroughly enjoyed playing Destiny and Destiny 2 when that first came out. But they are you have to be so fucking involved with it now at this point.
Yeah.
If I just try jumping back in, I'm just going to be lost.
Yeah, it's your life.
You've got to have your finger on the pulse.
It's your life game.
Yeah.
Not,
It's a real shame, but there's a hardcore community for it. So
the reason why I think I have kept with Tarkov this wipe way better than the other one is because on the last wipe I was something like 4 weeks late, and everyone knew the best spots, had the best gear, and it just made the whole game.
You missed the learning curve.
I don't know. Yeah, it had a sour taste in my mouth. While now, because I'm up to date with it, and it's difficult because now I don't want to leave, because if I leave it for a week, I might be. It might take me back. Yeah.
Behind.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the World of Warcraft thing. It's why I never have considered, even though Pete, you've recommended several times. I don't know why you didn't get involved with it earlier, but now it's too late, isn't it? It's the same with Destiny 2. Like I played Destiny 2, but it's gone too far now.
Hey Ben, I'll tell you what you can do. Just calling back to a comment from a few podcasts ago that I made. You can play it when you're old in your care home or something.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, because no one.
That's
will
what
be
these live
them.
games are going to be for us.
Yeah. So I hope that somebody, some hero out there will be keeping the server.
Our intern is still going.
He's still there. He's still there.
Still
clocking in, clocking out.
Position, but yes.
Never owns it.
Next one, Dungeons of Ether, coming out on PC February 28th. It's a turn-based strategy game with roguelike elements. It's got 1990s visuals. It's got 1990s music. The map is like from a 1990s game. But it has roguelike elements. So I guess you can keep on playing that 1990s game. Does anyone like this? I didn't even want to read out the blurb.
Yeah,
sorry.
We got rid of the blurb. Good times.
We got rid of the blurb. We got rid of it. Yeah. Good. I'm glad we didn't spend long on that. Next one, Scars Above, coming out on PC, PlayStation, Xboxes, February 28th. This is the last one of the week. Scars Above is a challenging sci-fi third-person action adventure shooter. Fuck me. Scars Above is a challenging sci-fi third-person action adventure. It's one of those.
No commas.
No commas. But also, it's one of those that. How do we get to every single type of gamer? I know. Let's just fucking tag everything.
Yes.
Everything. Combining the rewarding feel of overcoming difficulty with a compelling and intricate story set in a mysterious alien world to explore. See, honestly, they've put explore, mysterious, they put story, obviously, compelling,
alien.
Difficulty. So it's like they've gone, let's tag every single fucking gaming word around. Not to mention the challenging sci-fi third-person action-adventure shooter. Anyway, it's a third-person action-adventure game with a female protagonist for you, Ben. There you go. Mm-hmm. The visuals look damn good, especially when you scan things and the crafting page. Have you seen the crafting page where you drag stuff over. I think that's gorgeous. Getting a lot of Returnal vibes from the gameplay. Ben, are you getting that as
Agreed.
well?
No, agreed. Yeah, very much so.
I don't like the whole big alien thing, shooting it, and I very much feel like I'm playing a computer game. But I think this could be a lot of people's cup of tea.
Yeah.
So do I. I don't know if it's coming at a budget price, or if it's a full price game. I am hearing a bit of chatter about this, and I'm really interested to see how it reviews.
I mean, it looks good. It looks like a proper game, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
It does, yeah.
It's from the same guys who did like Kingdom Come Deliverance and stuff, isn't it? So they've got pedigree.
Good pedigree.
Yeah.
Good pedigree, yeah.
It's 35 quid on Xbox and PS5.
Yeah, I knew it'd be budget, because I know you said about the graphics. It looks very good at times. At other times, it doesn't look as good. It's got that weird thing with the characters sometimes doesn't look as good. So I think there have been a bit of some concessions made there.
If you're as obsessed with character models
very
as Ben is, you'll find the weaknesses.
No, I'm saying from a console gamer who has played Returnal, there are direct comparisons there.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. That's it for this week. I think it's actually been a bloody good week, despite it all being fucking sequels. Really hard for me to pick, because Octopath Traveler 2 I think looks fantastic. Kerbal Space Grammar I'd love to play, especially with that little added bit about the old things. Sons of the Forest I think we all know is going to be a bloody good game, and a lot of people are going to love that. Company of Heroes 3 I loved the last two, but I am going to reserve it for a game that I know I'm probably going to chuck few hundred at least hours into, and that's Blood Bowl 3.
I don't think it could have been anything else when it's been on your most
anticipated
anticipated games.
Couldn't have. Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad we've got loads of games that I consider good but not fantastic, like Power Wash Simulator, because now I can choose Blood Bowl 3, and I'm happy about that.
This is a high quality week for kind of Octopath Traveler 2 obviously is big time in a lot of people's eyes, but almost like the games that might fly under the radar. It's a real big week for those.
Yeah, because can you imagine if a huge game like Elden Ring came out on this week? That'd be really upsetting, because there are a lot of games here that I think are damn good games.
Yeah, loads. Yeah.
And if Elden Ring came out, then everyone would have got Elden Ring. So I think this has been a good week for them all. Unless everyone likes Chef Light, a restaurant simulator, then maybe might have some troubles.
Quality game.
Savage. Right, we're on to what we've been playing then, guys. And Ben, I feel you should kick us off.
Yeah, I'll update on Hogwarts. So still proving to be an excellent game. I'm about 3/4 of the way through it now. I've done 3 of the major plot aspects. A little bit of repetition is beginning to creep in.
That's a bit of negativity I've ever heard about this game.
They are introducing new things often, and the combat is excellent. I am moments away from getting the last Unforgivable Curse, the Avada Kedavra one. That is my main goal in the game.
That's all I ever see clips. Like, I watch a lot of gaming clips, and the amount of fucking clips of that bloody... I don't know what you
Curse.
call it.
Yeah. I that's my main goal
so what did
for the game.
do to your spelling of this, Ben?
I know that
that
went.
What's it say?
Avada Kedavra.
And that's why Ben can't cast the spell.
At least I said it right out loud.
There you go.
But so I don't. After I've got that, the story is interesting, and actually I do quite enjoy it. And there's one particular side quest which I really do think is excellent, and I am seeing through to the end, and it is kind of across so many of the aspects that then lead to the Unforgivable Curses. So I think if you're playing the game, you kind of know that, and it's really rather good and ongoing. The map does open up towards the end in that last third, and it gets to a harder kind of area. And it just shows how vast the whole kind of map is, which is excellent. And the side quests themselves, like there have been some which are quite large, like spectacles, which is always good. You get these games like The Witcher or Assassin's Creed and stuff like that, and some of the side content is some of the best stuff. So you do feel like doing this, the side content is rewarding in that respect. One aspect that I'm not so big a fan of is the looting system. So around the world, there are so many chests everywhere, so much loot, so much gear everywhere. If you miss a chest, you don't care.
Yeah.
You just get the next one. The loot system seems random. It seems like you open something. I did a puzzle earlier where I went down into a little dungeon and then did a little puzzle. Now, puzzles in dungeons usually just walk up to the chest, but there was a puzzle. I thought that's great. It took me a couple minutes to do. Opened the thing, and it was some random but shit loot.
Right.
There's nothing particularly special.
Lovely.
And what this game misses is what Skyrim does, what Elden Ring does, what Zelda Breath of the Wild did. In an aspect of the world, a particular area in the world, there'll be a particular chest that you're going after for some item that you really want. It adds a lot of meaning to the world, and it adds a lot of meaning to your exploration. Otherwise, you're just doing stuff to level up, to do bandit camps, to do whatever. You might get something good, you might not. That there is a trait system in the game, and I assume the traits are in set locations. But I don't know if that's random as well. And it kind of irks me a little bit because there's almost like when you do a bandit camp or something, the urge to be completionist and go around and get every single chest or something it becomes a bit meaningless. It's almost that Assassin's Creed level of stuff. And I just think you could do something, you could have that system, but just have these absolute items in an area where you're going this absolute gear item or something or trait that you really want, and you research online. Like the beauty of something like Elden Ring or Breath of the Wild was like, I'd look something up online, or Skyrim even, I'd look something up and I'd go, I want that thing, and I'll spend the next couple of hours travelling all the way over the map to get that one thing, do a really hard dungeon or something, nip in, get the item, get out, that type of thing.
Ben,
it's almost the beauty.
I do in a way agree with you, because I do that with a lot of games. But you know what? It really ruins further playthroughs for me. So, for example,
correct, yeah.
Wildlands, Tom Clancy's. Is it Tom Clancy's one?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Wildlands, whatever the fuck that game's called. Yeah, they have the same thing. But I learnt that, and on my second playthrough, I literally just got a helicopter in the first 5 seconds and flew all the way to the sniper, like the end game sniper, and picked it up.
Yeah, I get what you mean. And
really
you have your best. What you have to do to have that is that you have to have so many cool things in the world that next time you'd want a different thing.
Yeah,
as your main thing.
Yeah,
like, so as long as you've got enough. But I just think it lacks that true meaning to exploration. Your exploration has to be for exploration sense. Like the goal has to be the actual exploration, rather than going after things. And I've always been someone who values things over just seeing stuff. So I think that would be better. Plus, I also wish that it didn't have map markers, like almost that Ubisoft or Assassin's Creed type thing. I wish it had, and I don't think you can do this in the setting, so I don't think I'm saying this out of turn, but I wish if you stumble across something, it puts something on the map, but it shouldn't just be like on the map, or if you've flown broadly near it or you've unlocked that part of the map. I'd rather it was more like Elden Ring, where you just like have to go all the areas of the map to see all the things.
Yeah.
I don't know, that just seems like something it would be better. But I know they're appealing to a wide variety of a gaming audience with this game. So people that even don't game that often may be playing this game as well. So you don't want to.
There you go.
And
to those people, if there was nothing on the map, then they would probably think there's not much in this game.
Yeah. Yes, and I know they're probably appealing to a broader audience. So that's a bit unfair for me to say. Just something I prefer. And at this point in the game, the morality system is a glaring omission. There's literally no way of getting around it. Like, it is a thing that should be there. It would make it so much better. And I think it's something they've really missed a trick on. But from last week, where I was thinking this is absolutely insane, I do think this is an excellent game. As I said right at the start, it's proven to be an excellent game. It's an 8.5 out of 10, I think.
Oh, that's gone down.
But because I'm a Harry Potter fan, it's probably elevated to like a 9. The only reason I'm saying this is because there's a lot more that could have made it better, but that does not detract from the fact that I can lose 1 or 2 hours just so easily in this game. It's very good. The combat is truly excellent. It really, really is. And so I've said all the negative things, but that's almost to balance out what we said last week, I think. And this is a stone's throw away from being utterly fantastic. If you just made the small tweaks here and there, I think it would be fantastic. What I would say is I don't think that this game would get a sequel or a chance to get to that utterly fantastic level, because you've kind of covered everything. You've kind of covered that area now, haven't you? Like, you can't do that again.
If I know money and game publishers, I know there will be another Harry Potter game.
Yeah, you might be right.
There could be more nooks and crannies in Hogwarts Castle, mate. They can make them.
Yeah, it's true. It could be there, but it might lose its magic a little bit there. But it
very
is excellent.
good. If you meant
what I would say is that if you're playing this game from the start and you haven't played it yet, I would put it one difficulty higher than you usually play games.
Oh,
it is quite easy on your normal. I'm just playing a normal, and it's quite easy. And I'm thinking about putting it up because to have more of a challenge. But then I think I don't know if I need more of a challenge. Don't know if I really need it. But
that might be pandering to the non-gamers.
I was just about to say the same thing, Eddie.
Yeah.
I think if you want a challenge, go in at higher, because then it makes you utilise all the systems. Because I'm finding there's a lot of systems in this game, like gear traits and everything, and gear score, and I'm doing it as I go along. There's no real need for me to. Like, I'm not going after like resources to put the best traits on my gear because I know it's going to be upgraded, and I just go like, does it really make a difference for me? Probably not. And I'm just still killing everything and stuff like that. So I do think playing on a high difficulty would make you, and it's the same with most games, makes you utilize more of the things. Like, there's a whole like beast rearing system, and there's loads of different mechanics, so many mechanics in this game that on the harder difficulties you will be forced to use, but the lower difficulties you're just not. And I think this will absolutely be in the Game of the Year conversation, and rightly so, absolutely. But for me at the moment, I don't think it's quite there for that. But yeah, it's got that Elden Ring feel. Like, after this, I'd quite happily play it after this podcast if I wasn't editing it. Quite happily play it for a couple of hours. I played it for a couple of hours earlier. It's real easy playing, like the story, but it's not quite where it was last week, I'd say.
Interesting.
Peter might be happy to hear that I've already seen that they've got mods where they have weapons, they have guns and Uzis.
Fantastic. We actually touched upon the other reason I dislike it, which is there's one killing curse. You think in the entirety of human history they've come up with one spell that kills.
I mean, Pete, you indiscriminately kill in this game. I have a go at Nathan Drake all the time. You are a stone cold killer.
Good. Yeah. That at least is a plus. But I mean, why is there no spell to boil someone's stomach acid out of them? Like,
well, you can take a person, turn it into a spider, then squish them.
Perfect. That's the kind of thing I want to see. More of that, please. Yeah, let's do that. Anyway, I should probably tell you what I've been playing. Because I actually dipped my toe into Inculinati.
Oh, nice. I've actually downloaded it. I've actually downloaded it. I've got it on my Xbox.
Yeah, it's
Game Pass special.
It's definitely a Game Pass special. It's a strange game. I'm going to say that. It is a strange game. And obviously, there's a lot of similarities to Pentiment in look and feel. The art is very similar. So
it's that tapestry style, right?
Yeah. It's that. Yeah. The tapestry is the best way to put it. The sort of medievally tapestry. The text is the same way. The writing is really good as well. Not in terms of the overall plot, but in terms of their witty lines and the way things are delivered, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Whereas Pentiment, you could say, had both of those quite easily. And the music is really good and really good for the feel. It's also got a very good tutorial, although it is quite long, I will say. I eventually just gave up on it to crack on. But it is nice and detailed and gives you a good idea. The main part of the game, obviously the main thing is the battles. Like, you're doing 2D tactical battles, turn-based. So
turn-based, yeah. Is it like Darkest Dungeon?
Quite similar to Darkest Dungeon. And it is quite fun, but it also feels samey very fast. I'm going to say that up front. Aww. So only after a few hours, it kind of was feeling very repetitive. And while I know there are upgrades and unlocks to come, they seem to take a bit too long to get to you, if you know what I mean. It's just the gates to get new stuff into it seem to be a bit further in than I'd have liked, personally. It's the plot line is also kind of, it's a loose veneer of a story, if you know what I mean. It's like, it's sort of guiding you along, but the main thing you're there is for the progressing difficulty of the battles. Like, that's the main draw. And so that it wasn't really working for me is what I'm getting at. I think there's a lot of good stuff in it. It wasn't doing much for me personally. That's probably what I should say about it.
That really surprised me. Pete, what do you do outside of combat? Like, is there much going on? Because you can like build up your roster and shit.
Yeah, you build out your roster through shops on the map. So you buy new things or you unlock new things through the shop.
Right. Okay.
And then it's sort of progression across the map, but it's point to point. So you just click on the next point, go there. Click on the next point, go there. And they're either battles or shops or random little encounters you can have. So,
right.
Yeah, I think that was it. I think the core fundamental of this game is the actual battles themselves. And while they're decent enough, I wouldn't really... I think the thing that would get me into this more would be PvP, to be honest. But I think you'd have to engage with it quite a lot to get that. So,
do you think this game will improve quite a bit before it's full release?
I suspect so.
It's early access.
Yeah, it is early access. That is a very fair point. And I will be keeping my eye on it. Because the more content they add, the more I think you'd get out of this game. Especially just variety in your units and sort of more access to them quicker. That would do a huge amount for me. And I do believe variety in units is something they're aiming for. That's something the devs have talked about quite a lot. So I think it's the seed of a really interesting game. It's just not quite there yet for me.
Okay. Yeah, but it is Game Pass and it's early access, and there seems to be a lot of good
definitely, and the production level on it is really good as well. I will say that, like they've put some work in.
Cool.
So I think
a lot better than Pentiment. That's the way I look.
Oh,
Eddie, you are special.
You just doubled down on the
special
garbage.
man.
Yeah, I mean, it for me at least, it's not as good as Pentiment, but I do think if you like 2D turn-based strategies,
this must be shit.
It's a great starting point for people.
Jesus.
I might just mute Eddie during that section.
Yeah, just mute him. Mute him for most of the show.
And the new releases section is going to be really weird.
That's why I was saying most.
It's going to be a dicey section.
Let him do new releases, and that's the lot.
Yeah. That's too much editing for Ben.
It is, yeah, it is. We all know that.
Oh dear. Am I next?
Yeah.
I'm next, aren't I?
Yeah,
I've been playing Atom RPG Trudograd.
Can't wait to hear about this.
You know that game, that legendary game. I'm an indie guy. What can I say? The developers and publishers are Atom Team.
Yes.
Came out in May 2020. You wouldn't think it when you look at it. I got this game for 69p.
So,
nobody say that we don't aim to all gamers.
£69 or 69p, we cover it all.
That's the two differences, yeah. Ben gets the £69 ones, I get the 69p. Yeah, so this is the standalone sequel / expansion to Atom RPG, that other famous game that came out, I think it came out 2 years prior. The reason why I got this is because on a lot of the forums that I highly respect, I've got lots of good game recommendations from the forums that I'm on, and this actually came up loads as a really good story-based kind of game. And yeah, it's not bad. For a start, straight away, I mean the game's 69p and it starts off with like a 3-minute cutscene.
Nice.
Like, yeah, I know. And then you go in and everyone's like voice acted. I mean, to be fair, only certain people are voice acted in certain bits.
Eddie, that's more than Pokemon.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what I mean, Kirk. I mean, this game's 69 fucking p, and it's already 10 times better than Pokemon. I mean, like some people aren't voice acted and they like mutter Russian. So I don't know what the fuck they're saying.
Still a lot more than Pokemon.
Yeah, here you go.
Very true,
all
very
the
true.
mechanics. Pretty much everything about this game is Wasteland 2. It's almost like a more populated Wasteland 2.
Okay.
To the fighting, like kind of turn-based with weapons, to even interactions with people, saying like choose what one and do all this. Even like the world map, it's kind of, I don't want to say ripped off, because Wasteland 2 I think is a fucking amazing game. So I kind of respect people that try and copy a bit of it. It's quite, there's cool little mechanics as well, like you can mod your weapons, which, as we know in this podcast, I fucking love. But I just thought that was good.
Can you put silencers on your weapons?
You can, Ben. You can.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah, and it changed the stats of the guns. So obviously you like look out for certain things, and then you go, oh, do I not change weapons because I've got these? What do I do?
Questions. Yeah,
questions. Maybe I have it as my secondary, but then what happens if someone comes into melee?
Oh no, what happens?
No. Right, moving on. Merchants like certain things, which I thought was really cool. So, in most games, for example, like all the Baldur's Gate game, you just won't be able to buy or sell stuff from merchants. In this game, it has like, if they like, or for example, let me do an example because I'm fucking stumbling all over the place. A weapons dealer, you can sell anything to them, but they won't want food, for example, because they deal with weapons. So they will buy your food at an extremely discounted rate, which I thought was really cool, because like you can buy and sell anything, and it comes in really helpful. Like when you see like a weapon, like, oh shit, shall I just sell loads of, I don't know, clothes, even though I'm not getting a good deal on it, but I really want that extra money to buy the weapon. I just thought this is a really good mechanic that I haven't seen in any other game, and I really think other games should have that. I think it's really cool. You can move on the local map. They've got a world map and a local map, like most games like of this quality. But what I liked on it, which I don't think I've ever seen in any other game, is you can actually move on the map, which I thought was brilliant, because the amount of times in fucking Baldur's Gate I have to open up the map and then go off the map, then click in that area, then go, is that the right way? Go back onto the map. This one, you just click on the local map and you see the little dot travel. I mean, it made the game a bit shit because I didn't see my person running around and I didn't see people near me or enemies and whatnot, but hey-ho, that's fine. You can have sex. I just thought I'd add that. Obviously, it's the very first thing I did. There was a pimp in my hotel. I was straight away, do you want to have sex? I was like, well, obviously, I won't be able to have sex. Yeah, you can have sex. There you go. More sex in the game than real life.
69p.
Yeah. So this is, to sum up, it's Wasteland 2. It's a poor man's Wasteland 2. Wasteland 2 was probably in my top 10 games of all time. I think it's an amazing game. Wasteland 3 is a bit disappointing. This game came out a few years after that, and it's kind of very similar, just not as good. But for the price tag, I mean, I think, to be fair, I think it's... Hang on, I've actually got it open up here. No, I don't. But I think it's like £10. Oh, yeah, here we go. £10. So the game's £10. But obviously you can get it on deal. It's always on deal, down to like £1 and stuff. I think it's a really, really good game for that price.
Fair.
Good. Yeah.
69p, you can't go far wrong, can you? Let's be honest.
No, you can't go. No, you can't go far wrong.
Yeah, I've probably chucked in already, like, I don't know, 12 hours, probably something like that, and I'm going to keep on playing. So what's that for the
That's
return?
That's a hell
rate?
of a return.
That's pretty strong.
It is. I'm never going to get that out
I
of
think you're
Hogwarts.
you're a very cheap cuss so far. Nice.
Yeah, lovely.
Doing well.
All right, well, I have dabbled in the Callisto Protocol. So I did say a friend bought it for me for my birthday in December. I've now got round to playing it, and I have some thoughts. So
Your friend? Do you mean your roommate?
No, my friend. I have other
What?
friends.
Do friends
Kirk
buy
Kirk
each other games?
Kirk gets presents from friends.
Sorry? Is that what people do?
It's a friend from school. We've been friends since from school.
Kirk's a grown-ass man, and he gets
me, Pete and Ben have been friends since school. We don't buy each other
primary
presents.
Jesus, I feel sorry for the pair of you.
Do we supposed to buy each other presents?
It's never crossed my mind to buy any of you a present.
I've never bought any of you a present.
I'm not sure you guys are actually friends. If that's the case, anyway. Right.
That's true.
So
We don't sound like
I've started. I managed to start playing this over the last week, and first off, stellar graphics. They're phenomenal. Can't fault it at all. I know that this was heralded as quite a beautiful looking game, and it fucking shows. The combat is great, although I do have a caveat to that later. I do really like the dodge mechanic that they've got, which is where it is simple in its how you do it. You just basically, when the enemy comes near you, you go left or right with the thumbstick just to avoid them, and then your character kind of dodges out the way. The environments are well realised, which is another game, by the way, showcasing fantastic snow effects, just like when I mentioned about it in Last of Us, and also God of War has some really good snow effects too, which is basically like a fucking impossible. I don't know how they do it. It's just lovely. The sound design in the game is also really, really good. So the baton that you have, which you go around thumping people with, when it connects with the enemies, you do get like a really like proper bang to it. I've got a like a sound bar with surround speakers, and it kind of does get a nice sound when you're hitting. No, it's not a weird brag. It's just it is part of the game because it's a design. The sound design, and that kind of goes hand in hand with that kind of shit. So
another present from a friend?
No, I bought that with my own money. The user interface is really, really clean. So similarly to Dead Space, with the health bar on the back, is how you can tell certain things, and other elements in the game. They don't need any static kind of interface there. So the majority of the time, there's actually no UI at all, which is quite nice. Pete, I know you're fond of a clean UI, aren't you?
Yeah, hugely so.
I didn't actually know this until I started playing it, but Kamiko from The Boys is actually in it. I know the actress that plays her is voices and lends her face to it. So
fantastic. She's probably got more words in that than she does in The Boys.
I was going to say she doesn't have many words in the TV
show. And the deaths. I know this was kind of highlighted on one of the original videos that they output to us when it was being promoted, but the deaths are like a glorified 2.0 this is how you kill people kind of thing. So when you die, you can have your head ripped open, caved in. I died many times. Ben, you know the bit where you're going down the sewer in the river?
Oh, yep.
My God.
Yeah, if you timed that wrong, yeah.
Got impaled many times on those spiky posts, and basically half your head just fucking comes clean off. So that's,
they're quite good.
I was like, Jesus. My roommate was watching a couple of deaths at times, and she was like, that's fucking disgusting. I'm like, yeah, that's games for you.
That's the point. That's the point for that, yeah.
So those are some of the good things on it, and I'm not going to fault it on any of those because lovely, apart from the dodge mechanic thing, which I'm going to get to in a sec. So the game is really a game. And what I mean by that is it is completely on rails with what it's trying to do. Exploration's not encouraged at all. You're funneled through corridors that look the fucking same all the time. And that's a bit shit for me. The story hasn't engaged me at all. In fact, to the point I'm actually quite bored. I'm not even paying attention at this point. I'm just basically doing it. Jacob, who is the main character that you play as, he's acted very well. And again, this goes, they've got some great voice acting, they've got great motion capture, etc. But the character himself, I don't know what it is, but there are times in cutscenes where he's basically shitting himself and doesn't, scared for his life, but then you go around and he walks like such a badass. He just fucking destroys these enemies. It's like he basically comes across like a stone cold killer, and it's like, well, what one are you? Are you scared, or are you just like fucking Terminator? Like, pick a lane. That's literally what I don't know which one he is. And the combat, my God, it's fucking boring at this point. I'm about 6 hours into the game, and it's just the same thing over and over. like the animations.
Just one thing on that, Kirk. Are you 6 hours in? Because
you can check my stats, mate.
Because halfway through the game, it just turns into a shooter. Like the combat that you're talking about is just not in the game after halfway.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I've just taken it very slowly. I mean, I'm not going to lie. There was one point that I got stuck on. That this is probably part of the reason I've not been paying attention to the story. But I was there's when you first encounter the robot guards, and you've got to evade him to get to the next bit. I got through to the next room, and I had to get a fuse out of the one of the doors to use elsewhere. I know
what you're talking about, actually. Yeah.
I didn't realize I had to get that fucking fuse and go up the stairs that round the back of me and pull it into the next to the door up there so that I could get to the next section of the level. Instead, I ended up going up and down, up and down, up and down this fucking massive corridor that I just sneaked down to try and figure out what I was trying to do. I must have wasted about half an hour on this one section.
Yeah, I never had that issue.
Well, I did, and it infuriated me because there's no markers at all. And even though this is a very on rails game, there is still, because everything looks the same, I just got lost. So,
yeah, I think a lot of your comments so far are absolutely fair, and the negatives and all that. But I would say about the combat for other people, I have heard so many reviewers and so many people talk about that combat and how the repetitive like melee stuff or even how good it is, and I just think the game just turns into a complete Dead Space shooter.
So, so I've got no ammo, so I'm not even shooting.
Yeah, it's ammo is a commodity for sure, but that's what makes it great. I don't think especially in the last third, I don't think I ever used melee.
Fair enough, but I'm basically I've just gotten to the point where I'm just like this is slogging right now. Mm-hmm. The other thing Fair with enough. It as well, as the enemies kind of get they start mutating a little bit into the game with these little fucking tentacles that come out that warn you that that's what they're about to do. You can usually take down an enemy in about 3 or 4 hits with your baton, especially if you've upgraded it a little bit. But because of the animation, where you're using the right trigger to do the attack, there's obviously a reload essentially of the animation, and the fucking tentacles will allow the mutation to happen just as you're about to hit them for the final blow, and then you've got to do it all over again, and it's fucking annoying. And half the time I end up dying because you just get into a tight spot, and then if there's a couple of other enemies around, then you're just like, oh great.
That is just a difficulty thing though.
Yeah, I know, but I don't mind it. I don't mind something being difficult if it's fun. It's not
Sounds
fun.
Like it.
Essentially, I think the game looks fantastic, and what the studio have done is phenomenal in that sense. The game premise and everything around it, I'm just not sold on, and I am going to say that I've done 6 hours because that's what Xbox says I've done, but I don't want to play anymore. So
fair enough.
And
I think your comments seem fair.
It's I told you I was going to give it a go. I did, and I just that's what
I thought you might really like it. To be honest, I thought you might really like it. One of the things I would say is that this is some of the things that you're saying you didn't really gel with you. That was what the game was always going to be. I say about like it being a game and exploration and stuff like that. That's what the original Dead Space was.
Part of it for me is like that it's not scary at all in the slightest. It is not scary. There's no tension there. No, well, apparently people get scared by Dead Space. I want to play something that's actually going to make me feel a bit terrified whilst I'm playing it, and I'm just like, oh fuck off, mate! I can't be asked for this. This is boring to me. So.
I think what makes it less scary is because it's melee for half the game. I think when it's melee, it makes it slightly less scary. Do you think?
I don't. Yeah, I do, because I think the fear that I got in Dead Space is I need to get away from people.
And ammo restriction.
Ammo restriction and saving it and making sure your shots count.
You never run out of melee.
Yeah,
you never run out of melee.
And melee.
If you know you can handle in melee,
Yes. Yeah, you're never running out of melee
Yeah,
ammo.
that's it. Well, it's
Never
less
running out
scary
melee.
if it reaches you and you just have a dust up, as opposed to if I don't get the shots away, I'm dead.
Yeah, I think that is a thing. Yeah. Fair comment.
I just it's that. Well, that's it for me. Like I'm just gonna trade it in now and just not bother
You're out.
finishing it. Yeah, I'm out. I'm done.
Shit, a present. You're going to trade in a present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How's your friend going to
Hang
feel
on.
about that? God.
Yeah,
Trade
it'd be
in
fine.
a present.
That's
It'd be fine.
genuinely
You're gonna give
not
us money
okay,
back?
right?
No, it's
I
fine.
would never do that. Yeah.
I don't
That's
really
not
care.
fine. Returning a present, that's not fine at all.
It's all right. I'm meeting him for his birthday next month, and
Returning a present for money as well, Eddie.
That's awful. Kirk, you see when we streamed that little cow thing? That's my Christmas present from my parents. I hate that thing. But there you go. I keep it right beside me at all times. It never leaves my side.
fair enough.
You don't return presents.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm the Rachel of the gaming world. What do you want from me?
You're a fucking monster, you are.
Thank you. And the other thing is, last night I watched the latest episode of Last of Us HBO show.
Yeah, what do you think?
It was all right. I didn't like the ending at all. I understand why they did what they did, but it doesn't. It just felt really flat for me.
I really liked it as a separate thing to the game.
I like what the bit at the end, or just
I
in
like
general.
this conversation
all of
where
it. No,
half our
all
listeners
it.
don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're
No,
trying
I'll-
not to spoil
Yeah.
it.
No, I won't. I'll say what I mean. This episode for me was the largest deviation from the game depiction of what's going on. So I quite like what they've done separately. What my one comment is that fucking zombies are a serious commodity in this program. Like they are nowhere. Like
No,
you
this
never
is,
see
this
a
is
zombie.
relationships between humans. That's what this show
Every
is.
episode is
it's
relationships.
the
I
Walking
can't
Dead
remember
again.
seeing a zombie.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
No, mate, the Walking
when
Dead
did
at
we
least
see
has some
zombies?
fucking zombies. So-
Like they're nowhere. Like you see more zombies in like an episode of South Park or something.
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
just never. You never see a zombie.
No, I did. I did appreciate the relationships that they were kind of building in this one, especially between some of the main characters. But that ending, no. So if you play
I
the game,
think it's a good show, but it's not awesome. It's just a good show.
there is that. So, but yeah, that's me. That's me done.
Okay. Well, I'll be quick because I actually played the Dead Space remake, so following on from Callisto. So I'll be quick on this one. I fucking love Dead Space, and it's Dead Space.
Yeah.
It's got a variety of improvements, I think, and I played the last one. I talked about it on the podcast when we started, so it must have been about 2 years ago. I played the last one. I played it obviously years ago, but then I played it again about 2 years ago. It seems like they've done a number of things. If I've got this slightly wrong, then okay, whatever. But they've fleshed out the story a bit because Isaac now speaks. I know he spoke in the second one, and I did that on stream not long ago, but he didn't ever speak in the first one. And I think they've changed some of the characters as well, and it flows better. Like the actual story seems to flow better. There are now decisions where you can kind of like keep the lights on or activate the elevators and things like that from a power source. I think that is something they've added in. So I don't seem to remember any kind of decision making. So I think that's something. And following off what you said, Kirk, the atmosphere definitely does make it scarier now. It definitely does, and that's where I thought like ammo preservation is a thing. As opposed to the melee stuff. But it is a darker atmosphere than Callisto. Callisto looks fantastic, but
so this is
definitely
the
lighter.
thing. Callisto as well. The background music is constant, but not in like a sketchy way. It just feels like industrial, if that makes sense. Whereas, so does Dead Space like have more of a sinister undertone with like?
I think it definitely does. It definitely does. But it audio cues a lot of enemies.
Okay.
So you kind of know when enemies have appeared, but you can't see them because you get an audio cue and stuff like that, which I kind of wish it didn't have as much. Because and it's got the same thing as Callisto when something's behind you, like it's hard to... Basically, if I've killed something in front of me, I just keep running forwards because I know something's probably behind.
Does it not have like a quick 180 like in Resi?
No, I don't think so. Okay. Not that I've seen or used. It looks nice. It doesn't look as good as Callisto Protocol, but that's to be... I kind of think Callisto Protocol is almost gold standard in what things look like at the moment. But it does look good. Again, it's one of those instances that I say all the time where people overhype that shit. Oh, it looks fucking amazing. Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, it looks nice. Right. Yeah, sure.
I think I will probably give it a go once it's down in price.
Yeah, my point on this, I know you get planning on playing The Last of Us 2, which I fully support. I've put here, I'm not sure I would bother if I was you playing this, given your comments on Callisto. But then again, it is slightly less on rails. It really is. But it does have a lot of the repetitiveness that I don't think you liked in Callisto, but it would be interesting to see if you absolutely loved this. So
yeah, I'm still convinced. I want to give it a go because I know it's not exactly the same thing. So
yeah,
I can get by on that.
And if you go, I love this, but I didn't like that, that's fair enough. But, yeah.
And I got to play more than 20 minutes.
Yes, you do.
That's it. That would probably help you form a judgment, to be fair. Yeah.
Yes.
Fair. All right. Well, I like the sound of it.
Excellent. Well, lots of games this week, guys. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm still chuckling at Avada Kedavra, but still.
Avada Kedavra.
Fantastic. But we are on to the feature, which, as mentioned at the very beginning, is on Worth a Buy.
Yeah. So on that, I haven't got a clue who this person is, and you guys are always fucking talking about him. So I want to know a bit more. So someone take this. Go on.
Good. Did you not like when we talk about like Worth? But do you not like spend like just a couple minutes going like, oh, I'll just?
He's not a curious man.
Part of Kirk.
He's not a curious man.
No, he just what Kirk does. He says, it's not for me.
Yeah.
Like this, the guys didn't think about me when they were doing this, so I just won't put any time to think about it.
But I mean as well, Ben. I mean, like when we talk about him in the past, like, oh, he did this review. Like, did Kirk not go? Oh, I wonder what these guys are talking
what Kirk
about?
does is go, I got away with something there. They don't know. I don't know.
You're not far wrong to be honest, Ben. But it's come to bite me in the ass this time.
It's Dead Space all over again.
Yeah. Can we look up his history of YouTube looks as well? But no, actually, I do not want to do that with Kirk. Yeah. So he's a game reviewer, I guess. He's called Mac. Right. He's from the north of England. I think, judging by his accent, I'm going to guess Sheffield, do you reckon?
I couldn't hazard a guess. I'm no good with that.
Yeah,
Pete might be able to.
I wouldn't really hazard a guess either. It's definitely northern.
Definitely northern.
That's as far
yeah,
as
but
I
my
go.
missus is northern, and she doesn't sound so northern as him. Like,
to be fair, Exeter's north for me.
Like he says,
you are.
fuck sake, Ben,
Jesus
you're really
Christ.
a West Country folk, aren't you?
It's not even just West Country. He's like the southern tip.
He says like Book, which I'm pretty sure is far north.
It's pretty
I'm pretty sure
Yorkshire, isn't
Book.
it? Yeah.
It's pretty Yorkshire, yeah.
Oh, it's northern talk, that.
Northern talk, past Exeter. So yeah, he's been on YouTube since 2013. I did a few little runs here. He's got 1,394 videos on YouTube.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Right. Yeah, that is a lot.
And his video views are over 100 million views.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So that's pretty weird. I was surprised. I think I'm trying to say surprised by how many subscribers. But because I'm looking at the word subscribers, I can't say surprise.
You now seem like you're in a loop.
Surprised.
Like, can someone reset Eddie so we can carry on?
Oh, just turn me off and on again. Actually, don't turn me on. Right, subscribe. Right, so he's only got 299,000 subscribers, which I'm really surprised by.
I thought he had more as well.
Yeah, how weird's that? That seems really low considering how popular he is amongst the gaming community in the UK.
Well, the thing is, he's popular amongst us. I mean, we're making an assumption here that people who listen to this podcast may like the people that we also like. And so that's why we're talking about it.
Before the days, I only started I don't know why. I only started liking videos. I'm subscribing to channels only about 6 months ago. I don't know why.
Wow.
But here's what I always do: is I always, when I research a game, I type in blah 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 review, and I bet if he has reviewed that game, it will be in the top. I'm going to go big and say top
Agreed.
2 videos. It might be like IGN, then him. Do you know what I mean?
He's up. He's up
gonna be
there.
top
He's
5,
probably
I'd
after like
say.
ACG.
Yeah.
Probably after ACG and people like that. He definitely is up there though.
Definitely
All
up there. But what's good about this guy? I mean, let's go through what people like and what don't like. I'll start. For a start, he's known for his controversial opinions. He's not ACG or IGN, where they'll kind of go through things quite well and nice and in order.
That's true.
And they have a set regime. He he said this in a lot of his videos. He doesn't script any of his reviews.
He has said that, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
He doesn't
So
script.
off the top of the head all the time, is it?
All the
Presumably
time.
has some cues.
Yeah,
Usually
he
has
must
some,
have. Don't get me wrong. He must have cues because he has to create the videos with it and stuff like that. But yeah, he doesn't script it like where it's like, now I need to talk about this. He will rant about something, and it shows because he will rant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Yeah.
He will go off on one. But that's kind of what I like about him. I watch, IGN reviews and before you buy an ACG, if I want like a structured kind of thing. If I want a harsh opinion of a game, or I want the damn bloody truth, then that's him, because he is brutally honest. He's very opinionated, and you need to kind of look at what he likes and doesn't like so that you're not swayed by the wrong things. But at the end of the day, he's brutally honest. Like, I literally watched a review yesterday. I mean, I've already forgotten what the fucking game was. Anyway,
Atomic Heart.
no, it
Heart.
wasn't, because he actually really liked that game, didn't he? It was.
Yeah. Didn't you watch? Didn't he?
He's had a busy couple of weeks. But anyway, he got a code for this game and he panned
Settlers.
it. He said it was. Oh, that's right, Pete. Yeah,
I watched that one as well.
We're on it.
I watched that one as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he panned it, didn't he?
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
what I mean. Even though he got this code, he's not afraid
He's a
to go.
huge fan.
Here's what's wrong.
He's honest. He's honest to himself.
Yeah, that's it.
So.
It's
And people still give him codes, even though they know that he will do that.
And
So
I should
it's
add,
risky.
I should add, with Settlers, he was a huge fan of the originals. So he's a franchise fan.
Yes.
Gets a code for the long-awaited update and then pans it.
Yep. But that's another thing which is great about him is, and he's done it a lot. He won't go into a game going, I used to love these old ones. He did it with Elite Dangerous as well. He won't go into it going like, oh, I used to love them, so I'll probably love this. He'll have a fresh pair of eyes, and he will, if it's not a good game, he will fucking let you know about it. Another thing that I like about him, he reviews a lot of games. Like, I mean, in the past 2 weeks, there's been fucking shitloads of new ones that keep on coming up.
Yeah, they have.
When I've got a rainy Sunday, I sometimes put all his liked games or all his disliked games just to see what good games are out there, what bad games are out there, because he's just done so many. In fact, he's done so many shite games. Like, I'm talking like tower defense games. You know, those real.
he loves.
Yeah, he loves
He
them.
loves a
defense.
tower defense
Yeah.
game, but he will
goodness.
find like 69p games and just review them. I don't
You
know.
and he are kindred spirits, to be fair, Eddie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the same.
Yes, we are the same
Love
person.
a
I am
rant,
him.
don't spend money, play lots of games. Like, it's...
Yeah, what I don't like, he is very much a PC gamer. If you can't rebind keys,
If they haven't got graphical options, or you can't if you cannot rebind keys to different,
Shit, if he
my
can't
days,
get
your
over
game
his
is getting
Yeah, it's...
your game is getting a 3 out of 10.
game over.
It's not acceptable.
Also, I know I said this is a strength, but he's also a weakness. Is he's very opinionated.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
We'll come back to that. So. And also, he does have his own ways of looking at things, and he has said in a few of his reviews, and he does an end of the month like thank you thing as well. It's my opinion, so go fuck yourself if you don't like it, which in a weird way I kind of respect. But you know, there are things that he thinks are huge deals and just clearly aren't, like the binding of keys or certain things. So, but overall, I think he's an absolute gem to have as someone to keep on top of games coming out, because he might tell you information that other game reviewers might not, or might be afraid to say, or something like that. So, and if you don't like it, he's fucking entertaining. He's great.
Yeah, Eddie, that's a great lead off, because my thoughts on this is I don't always agree with him at all. But I find him really entertaining, and the one thing that I don't like as much, but I do watch all his reviews, is that sometimes it would appear that he almost has a vendetta against AAA games.
Yes.
He leans into the fact that his audience like that he rags on AAA games a lot. Yeah. I do think he leads into it a lot. One example of this was Elden Ring. When Elden Ring originally came out, he absolutely crucified it. And he's always crucified Dark Souls games in the past. Dark Souls 3, he absolutely crucified. And Eddie, because obviously his opinions are totally derivative, started calling Dark Souls 3 Devil May Cry, and just rolling around on the floor like an idiot. So that kind of irked me a little bit, because I was like, well, why? Elden Ring, when it released on PC, obviously had some glitch issues. Now, he sometimes so heavily will focus on things like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, the game is shit. The game is nonsense. The game is absolute rubbish. It's like, whoa, hang on a minute. And that first Elden Ring review he did was, he absolutely slated it. And then he re-reviewed it. So after about 9 months of the game being out, he re-reviewed Elden Ring over 2 videos, and almost pretended like he'd never even done the first review.
Yeah.
And then called it absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And I was like, hang on a minute. Like, what the fuck? Because he was asked so many times to relook at Elden Ring. It's like, come on. Sometimes it seems like he plays games for like 3 hours and then says like, nah, shit.
Still better than 20
I
minutes.
do feel like sometimes he kind of cleanses the palate. Like, he will go to the paint for like a whole month in a row of all games are terrible, this is why everything is bad. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he'll like a game that you wouldn't think he would like, which everyone also likes. And I feel like that's his way of going, I'm in a bit of trouble. Maybe I'm losing viewer counts. Maybe people are moaning too much. I'll keep the fans happy with a little like.
Sometimes it is like that, where you're like, oh, I didn't expect that. But sometimes I can usually call exactly what he thinks about a game before I've even watched the video. But except for Atomic Heart. He liked Atomic Heart. And maybe that's because it's more against the grain and that type of stuff. I don't know. He's entertaining. He's really, and a lot of what he says is true even when he's ranting and it's not what you agree with. It's still, there is something in there, isn't there?
It's an interesting balance, because both of you have heavily mentioned entertaining. I don't find him that entertaining, and yet I still rate him. I still rate him quite highly. And for me, a lot of it is he focuses on something I find really important in games, which is immersion. That is huge for him. It comes up in almost every video.
Immersion juice.
So if I'm looking at a game and going, like, I like the look at this, tell me more. If I want to know it's going to be an immersive experience, I will first look at his video on it. That's the first place I'll look.
Because
he will
very
instantly tell me whether it was immersion breaking for him or not. And that's one of the key things for me to know.
He does always mention it.
Yeah, it's such a big part of it, and it is for me as well. It helps that I play similar games to him quite often, as I'm sure it helps Reddy. But again, he plays so many games that most people will find some that apply to them, you know? So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but for me, that is the key reason I'll watch him, is that particular focus. And admittedly, I do find his rants entertaining, but it's not like I'd seek it out as entertainment, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense? Yeah, and we should, with the very opinionated bit, we should probably take a moment to register the controversy, because he did have a bit a couple of years ago, didn't he? With well, there are accusations of sexism and racism. Now, both of them didn't go very far, and both of them came from one offhand sentence in a review, where he basically said he didn't like playing as an African woman while using a minigun, and he wanted to be Jesse Ventura from Predator. That's the context.
That's funny. I don't know that one, but I do know that he had to take down one of his videos and redo the whole video, and he did obviously mention this in the video because he said the term spear throwing person or something like that, and apparently a lot of people took huge offence of that. He was, of course, referring to the fact that he was a character throwing spears, but I think a lot of people took great offence of that, so he had to actually take it down.
That's it. And I
think his sentiment is okay. I think it's just it's in out of context.
This is
and
I tell you what doesn't
sentiment.
help him is, and for our listeners who I don't know who he is, he doesn't take shit, I think is one way of putting it, to the point where he can be quite offensive and he can be quite stubborn.
Yes.
So I think something that if you're talking to a PC person and something slips that could be offensive, I think because of his attitude, he probably is going to get more in trouble than the average person.
Yeah, and I think...
Is that fair?
I think so too. And I think because he doesn't script things and because he so often rants, the likelihood of him saying the wrong thing is pretty high.
Yeah. Very good point.
Or something that could offend someone.
Yeah. And I think as well as that, you have to kind of... There's got to be some separation between finding a modern demagogue and looking for a gaming review. Like, I'm not there for his worldview. I'm there to find out if Settlers' New Order, or whatever it's called, is an immersive game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So take it with a pinch of salt, essentially, is all I'm saying to that. But we should mention that happened.
Yeah, I think fair comment. Kirk, are you now interested to check out Worth a Buy?
I might check out a couple of videos.
Fuck you, Kirk.
Cool. Okay. I mean, one of the ones I was going to check out was the Atomic Heart one. See what he says about that, because there's been a lot of backlash on that game. People boycotting it because of the fact it's been made by a Russian developer, hasn't it? And I want to see. I just want to see what he's got to say about it, and if he liked it, see what he says.
Yes,
he does like it. He does like it. Yeah, I would.
I want to see why, though. I want to see why.
If he heard about the controversy, I bet he would have doubled down and said it's the best game of all time and everyone should buy it. I think he'd probably play
I don't think he actually references it from memory. But
no, I don't remember him saying anything.
But
about
it. He would
give it a go.
Yeah.
So
fair enough. Well, if anyone listening also likes the sound of him, then Worth a Buy on YouTube.
Yes, indeed. And
I thought you were going to go into the socials there, Ben.
You can also catch us on YouTube at Grumpy Gamers Podcast.
Yeah, it was weird.
You can email us if you have any comments or anything we've got to say, or if you listen to Worth a Buy, or if you've got any other YouTubers you think we should check out.
Stop trying to dig.
So if you've got any YouTubers that you would like us to check out, then email us podcast@grumpygamers.co.uk. Tweet us at grumpygamerspod. Twitch, we sometimes stream, not lately, but we do stream Grumpy Gamers Podcast, all one word.
Fantastic when you got there. But for this week, it's GG.
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 GG.